Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Madam Ex-Chairman, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. We're at the Epsom Speakers Club and many people have often said to me, when did you join Epsom Speakers Club? And I tell them it was about a year ago because that's what it feels like, and when you're having fun, it does seem pretty quick. Although, I had a look, this is my C10, I had a look through all my previous talks and it seems that in actual fact my first note was December 2012, which is almost 3 years ago. So it's surprising how time has flown. And I came along here and encouraged by the bonhomie that was here, I agreed to do a table topic. And I came up on the stage and I think it was Costa gave me a challenge of, as a rat, how would you justify to Noah that you should be included on his ark? Well, I knew it wasn't difficult getting past Noah because he was a bit of a soft touch. The real problem was getting past his wife. She was a real hard person and she was really the brains and the power behind the Noah's Ark. And it always surprises me that everybody always remembers Noah's name. But we'll see the power of my communication if anybody can remember what Noah's wife's name was. One person. It was, of course, Joan. Joan of Arc. I did pretty well. And I got a cup on my first night, and I thought, this is wonderful. I was suddenly fired with ambition. So it wasn't long before I was signed up as a member. And then in April 2013, we came to my C1. Now, I don't know how anybody else feels about this, but I find it very ignorant. An embarrassing moment when you've got to stand up there and talk about the most boring, embarrassing subject in the world, which is yourself. But I'd set up with beer, bells and bells to justify, as everybody will know, my interest in beer, my enjoyment of roseling up a bow, fiddle playing, a lot of Morris dancers that are dancing around with bells on. And incidentally, it will be Saturday morning in your village here where the York St Mary's Morris men will be dancing again, so put that in your diaries. Following my C1, I got on to my C2, which was all about structure. And unfortunately, my first C2 didn't work out too well, and I got disqualified for being too long. So I did a second one, and that one was the beer magic, almost, when we decided that it was argued very strongly that Jesus never turned water into wine, that he turned water into beer. Following on from my C2, we got a bit more serious and we went on to the C3, which was all about making a point. And you may remember I showed you this card here, which is the seniors bus card, which is not given to us elderly people by rights as a freebie. It's something that we've worked for years and years, paying our taxes, our rates and our dues. We've paid up advance and now we're getting the benefit of it. So please don't try and stop it for us. Having gone from making a point, I went on to my C4, which was how you say it. So the ideal subject, I thought, for how to say it was words. You may think that I don't mean a single word I say, but it's words, and words are all I have to win your votes tonight. From the words, we go from the next thing, which is movement from one side of the stage to the other side of the stage, but I didn't want to just be myself. And probably, I don't know if anybody remembers it, do you know what we did? We all got up on our feet. Nobody wants to get on their feet tonight, but we all got on our feet and we put our right arm in, we put our right arm out, in, out, we shook it all around, we did the okey dokey and we turned right round. And that was the C5, was all about. C5 took me on to the C6. And the C6 is about getting some animation into your voice. And this was something that was very necessary for me to do. And perhaps some of you may remember me on the phone trying to help a rookie policeman that had found a live, unexploded ammunition shell on the beach. And no, I can't come down there, Peter. I can't come down there. No, you're not going to bring that bomb in here, Peter. And so we had to get a few different places for that one. After the C6, we went on to do a C7. Now, I actually ended up doing 2 C7s. The first one was done on the night that Reed's School came here. And I think most of you have seen Reed's School pupils here. When you see Reed's School pupils and you're up against them, be very afraid, because they're hyper polite. These people are articulate, eloquent speakers of the future, and they're very good. I did the subject of Wolfhall, and was very pleasantly surprised to find that I was evaluated by one of the Reeds people, and Henry VIII was one of her pet subjects, so we got it okay with it. I then did another C7 a few weeks later when, unfortunately, we all came here one night and there was only 2 speakers turned up, which means you can't have a vote. So, rushing up to the stage, knight in shining armour, we managed to get another C7 done, and guess what its subject was? It was on beer. I jumped from the C7 to the C9. Not to say that C8 isn't important, but when we came up to the C9, we thought we'd do it in a little bit of an advance way. And the C9 was all about inspiration. And we had a few examples, including, we will fight them on the beaches, we will fight them on the hills, we will fight them on the landing strips, we will never surrender. Is that inspirational type of speaking for anybody? Yeah. And then we did come back to the C8. The C8 is the one where you have to have a few 8s, and I had some slides. And it was called Namaste. Namaste, I respect you. Unfortunately, the clock didn't respect me that night, and I was accidentally cut short, 1.5 minutes. So you never got to hear the fascinating story of the thrills and the danger and the experiences of how you travel around in India. That's something that you may still find you can get up with. Finally, we get here to my C10. And you may think to yourself, well, what, as a resume of all my other talks, got to do with the objectives of a C10? Well, we've had a few anecdotes, we've had a few laughs, but most importantly, this has been my journey. It's not been an easy journey. When I joined, apart from coming up against Reed's School occasionally, I also happened to be in the same batch that had David Villa-Clark, Dave Goodman, Brendan Meeks, and then that was already added on to Penny Williamses and the Amanda Swartzes of this club. It's a challenge, and when I look back, I'm really quite inspired with ambition of how I actually managed to get on with it. But if we're talking about ambition, I suppose I'm going to go back to my first talk, my C1, where I stated my ambitions there, and they've not changed. And that ambition is to spend the rest of my days in the nicest, liveliest, friendliest of pubs, drinking the best of English beer, and then to be shot at the age of 99 by a jealous lover. That's my ambition.